Hello everyone, it's Dove again. So I am back in Indiana, and it's been about a month since I took my trip to Ohio. Unfortunately, I did not have any time to film anything. I barely had time to take pictures. I was only actually able to be there for a week, and I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks, so I didn't even get as much stuff done as I wanted to, and I didn't get to visit with my friend as much as I wanted to. But I did get a few things done. I filled up the whole thing. I basically it was my shakedown trip or whatever. So I tried to put everything in there that I could think of that I would need in order to live in this suburban. And it was a hot mess. I had everything from that I wanted to put up in my cargo box. All of that was in there because I had to modify the bottom of the cargo box. That's one of the projects that we did, and I'm probably just going to make a separate video about that. But everything's up there now. But on my trip to Ohio, it was all sitting on my bed. So I've got 3 double wide, the extra wide milk crates. Those are all up in there, and I had those sitting there, and then plus a bunch of other stuff. I had my refrigerators full. I had all my clothes and everything. I took everything out, because I don't want to drive around with all the weight in it for no reason. But I had all of my baskets up in here and everything. This was full. Everything was full. I had my toilet out here, under there. All my water jugs were up there, and they were all full. And it was super heavy, super, super heavy. In fact, this tire was really kind of squished, and I needed to put more air in it. And I didn't, but I'm gonna have to. In the long term, I'm not gonna be able to keep doing it that way. But yeah, that's one thing that we did when I was there. We cut out a piece of Luan and put it in the bottom there to ha- for something for the crates to sit on, because the inside of the cargo carrier has just ridges going down it, and it was not stable. So we got that taken care of. And then the other big project that I did was, well, I had some rust, a little bit of rust. Right here, I had some rock chips that had started to rust here in Indiana. It was not like that when I bought it, but after being here for a couple of years, it was more than it could take, and it did start getting some surface rust, but thankfully it was only surface rust. But I wanted to get a hold of it while it was just surface rust, and so we sanded all this down. I just wanted to do this is bedliner. I don't know if you can, I'm sure you can tell that texture right there. So I didn't want to just repair the rust and then try to match the paint and everything, and then, have it just happen again. So I wanted something durable, and I had seen other people do the rocker panels and the sides of uh, their vehicles with the bedliner. Sorry, it's like 95 degrees, and it's about 70% humidity, so I'm dying here. I actually have if you can see that, that's an ice pack. I have it strapped around me because it is so ungodly hot. But I just went ahead and I took the bedliner up to here, and actually, I guess I should back up. I use this stuff called Zion Labs 2-in-1. It's a rust converter and primer, and I'll try to put some pictures in maybe at the end of the video to show you this, because I did take a few pictures of this when it was in process. And so I kind of just wanted to take it up to this natural crease right here, and I went around all the way around here to the back right here, and all the way down under here, all the way under there. And so I kind of wanted it to be uniform, and I don't know if you remember or not from previous pictures of us, it has this chrome fender trim that goes around each wheel well. And so I took those off because there was just a little tiny bit of surface rust like underneath. I could see just a little bit of surface rust under there. And so I ended up taking those off. You can see where they were right there. And then I thought, just to keep it cohesive, I would go ahead and bring it along this way and down. And then I did all the rocker panels. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I went all the way up under here to where I couldn't go any further. So all of this I sanded down with the help of my friend. He helped me too. And got all that sanded down. And I did that rust converter and primer on that too because, as normal, this is 2005, there were some rock chips underneath and there was a little bit of surface rust under there. So I just went ahead and went all the way down, all the way down. And then I came back up this way and stopped right there at that. And then the chrome piece for here, it started right here and it went all the way down and it goes down to here. So this is 3 coats of the Herculiner. I used Herculiner bedliner, and I tried not to do a 3rd coat right here. So you can, in some areas, see the red, that rust converter and primer is red. So in some areas, like especially right around here, you can see the red coming through, but I didn't want to make it too thick because I wanted to be able to get the chrome pieces back on. Well, the chrome pieces were really super hard to take off. The screws were all rusted and everything. There was 4 screws for each one, and they were really rusted, and I had to do the PV blaster and stuff to get the screws out. And I should have just done it when I was there, but I only had a week to be there, so I was running out of time. But what I initially thought about doing was taking that bed liner and just going all the way around here. And that's what I should have done, just trusted my instincts, because the chrome pieces, now that, I didn't get it too thick, but for some reason, when I tried to put them back up, the holes are not wanting to line up. And so right under here, I did prime this area right up here, and then I took Rust-Oleum enamel paint, and I just did that right up there. And then when I got home, I thought I would go ahead and put the chrome pieces on, but it turns out that they do not want to go back up there. And so, whatever. I just should have trusted my instincts and ideally had more time. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape off. Hello. I'm going to tape off just right above where that line is. I'm just going to put the tape right up here, and then I'm going to scuff this up. And so I'm going to do that bed liner. I went through a whole quart of it already, and I just bought another quart of it. And so I'm going to scuff this up and do all over here. And then just to be, fully cohesive, I want to go ahead and do all this. So the whole thing, right where that crease is. So that's what I'm going to do this week. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad. The reason why it took so long to do this, even though, it's supposed to dry quickly, it was super, super humid over there in Ohio, and it's super humid here. So I don't know how long it's going to take. I've got to wash it again first because, it's dirty again. But that's what I want to do. And so I have to take off these chrome pieces, and most of the door molding on cars is just like a rubber type trim that you can just pull off, and you have to scrape off the adhesive and everything. And the only video that I saw for somebody removing chrome door molding, when they removed it, there was actually holes left in the door panel. And that's because, I think, because I did a search online, and from what I could gather, it's because it tapers. See, this is skinny down here and it's wide down here. So on some of these vehicles, the reason they put those holes in there, they're for guide holes. So on this trim, I'm just guessing. I haven't taken it off yet, but I'm going to guess, because of how it's made, that there's little uh, pins or nodules on the back side of this trim, and it goes into those holes, which are guidelines to help you line up that trim. So that's something else that I have to deal with. I didn't really, I don't know, I didn't really want to do that, but if I'm going to do all of that, I think it's going to look weird just to leave it. So I'm just made the decision just to take this bed liner and go all the way across here, and then it'll be cohesive all the way down. And then the holes, I bought some, I didn't want to do Bondo. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to do Bondo, but I bought this stuff. It's JB Weld steel stick, and it's a two-part putty, but the hardener for it is actually on the inside of it. So this is just a roll of the putty, and then there's two colors, and on the inside is, I think it's black. And so you have to just cut off small sections of it and work it with your hands. You have to wear gloves, of course, and just work it real with your hands for a couple minutes. And then it's supposed to be, it's supposed to turn into like steel, but it's just epoxy, of course. But there was really good reviews for it, some not so good. But I have seen a few people on YouTube use this stuff to just fill in holes, just small holes. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and rip all that off, see what I've got to deal with under there, and then I'll clean it up, and then I'll patch those holes. If that stuff doesn't work, then I'm just going to get a small kit of the Bondo stuff and just, Bondo up the holes. I mean, I know I'm going to be covering it with bed liner, but I don't want holes to be back there. I want to fill those in. So that's my project for this week, is to get her cleaned back up and then rip that off. Well, actually, I probably should rip that off first and then clean it up, and then finish up doing the Herculiner. I think it looks pretty good. This side isn't as good as the other side, because this is the first side that I did, and they tell you to use a brush on it, but I didn't have a special brush, and so it actually wasn't working out very well. And the bed liner is super hard to work with, and so this side does not look as good as the other side, because by the time I got around here to the passenger side, I figured out what I was doing wrong and how to fix it. And see, I don't know if you can see right there, that red coming through. That's because that chrome piece was supposed to go all the way down to here, and I didn't want to get too much of that Herculiner there. But I mean, you can still see some kind of the red, but there's 3 coats of the bed liner on here. I might have to go over that again now that I have another can. But yeah, I'll just rip all those off. I'll probably go over these areas, especially right here, because I only did 2 coats right there. But I found it best just to take it and dab it with the paintbrush rather than use a roller. And it was really time consuming, but it worked out a lot better. And then my friend Mitch, he actually went under here. This whole thing, part of my frame, had some surface rust on it. So he came out and he took his grinder to it, and he ground it, all that surface rust off, and we cleaned it up. And then he spray painted it with this, I think it was Eastwood rust converter paint that I had here and that I had brought with me. And so it looks a lot better. It's dirty right now, but that looks way better, especially when it was first done. It looked super good. It was nice and flat black. And then I also did right here, my hitch was starting to get some surface rust. So I knocked all that off of there and I sanded it down. It's all dirty again, but I used that primer, that rust converter and primer, and I did that whole thing. And yeah, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. God, it's super dirty, but this whole bar, this is all part of the hitch. So I sanded all that down and I primed it all, and I used that same Rust-Oleum enamel paint that I used on the wheel wells. I used that all over here. I covered this up with masking tape and I masked that off and I painted all of that. And then that bar goes all the way across. So yeah, I got quite a bit of rust work done. Unfortunately, there is rust up under the frame. I'm just going to have to deal with that or take care of it later. Then when I got back, this is the plastic film. I didn't get a chance to do that when I was there, so I did that when we got back, or when I got back. I don't like how it turned out because you're not supposed to use it on a curved surface. You're only supposed to use it on a flat surface like that. So it was really awkward. This turned out a lot better. I'm not real happy with this because it's got some creasing going on, and there was really no way I could avoid that. I mean, it's just because it's curved this way, and this way. So it's curved both ways. And then this particular film that I got is real cheap. Look at this. I'm not happy about that. This was like 30 bucks. So I guess you get what you pay for. But the other ones were only 32. But the whole thing was supposed to be black. And look at this. There's a white edge on the top and the bottom. I'm definitely not happy about that. It's all along the top. It looks crappy. So I'm not happy with that, how that turned out. But you can't see in, and that was the whole point. I didn't want people to be able to see in, and I didn't like how that curtain was working out back there. So this is what I had to do. I may go ahead and buy another one of these and just do this on that back window, just peel that stuff off and do it again with this one. I don't know how that would look having it on all three sides, but I don't know. I think the flame part of it would kind of help conceal any creases. Maybe not. I don't know. But yep, these are staying off. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I'm not going to use those. And then the next time you see this thing, hopefully the next time you see it, all that will be bedliner. All right, y'all. I hope you are staying cool wherever you are. And I will talk to you again some other time. Bye. Okay, so I thought I was going to end the video there, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys what it looked like after I took the trim off. I did that short time-lapse video just to show you. I did use a crowbar to get it off. I normally, if you're taking it off and not doing bedliner, then you would probably want to be a lot more careful. But I just took the crowbar and wedged it under there and was able to grab it and tear it off. And surprisingly, there's no holes. Like that one video I saw, I thought they said it was an Escalade, which also had trim that tapered down to one end, and that's why they said that, they had to have the holes in there as for guidelines. But there's no holes there. There's just all this adhesive, so that's good. That's one less thing I have to worry about. I don't have to use that JB Weld uh, steel stick or anything because there's no holes. So that makes me happy. But I'm gonna have to get a paint scraper, scrape off all that adhesive and just get it even. And then I got some, the Herculiner tells you just to use a scouring pad just to scuff it up, but I may need to use a little bit of sandpaper just here, but just on regular paint. Like if you're doing a bedliner or whatever, they just tell you to use a scouring pad just so that it's not glossy anymore. So that's what I'll do. I'll just get all this cleaned up, scraped down, cleaned up, and then I will scour everything down just to get the gloss off of it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do 3 coats of the bedliner here, just like I did on those surfaces already here. And it's really durable. I mean, I hope it doesn't peel off or anything. It might fade in the sunlight, but you know, whatever. I suppose I can always go through and do touch up with the spray can of Herculiner if it starts to look too bad. But hopefully it'll look okay. It's just going to be an off-roading kind of vehicle anyways. I mean, I'll be on the roads most of the time, but I am going to be off-road a lot of times, so I'm more concerned about just keeping it from rusting any further. All right, guys, that's it for real this time. Bye.